Hey guys, it's Allie, and in today's video, we are doing probably the most requested video. I've been getting a lot of comments on my previous ones recently asking when I will make this video, and that is, of course, by the title, my All My Dolls video for the year of 2022. I post these videos every May. They are some of the most popular videos on my channel, so thank you for that. And I will say, in my video from last year, 2021, my collection grew so much. So with K-pop kind of taking over in terms of where I've been spending my money, I have not purchased as many dolls since the last video. I do have 2 new dolls to share in my collection, but for those of you who are new to my channel, which I would assume are a lot of you because my channel has grown a lot since last year, so thank you for that. This video will serve as an overview of the dolls in my collection, some stories about them, maybe how I got their names, and things like that. And there have been a few kind of changes in my dolls' names. I'll explain that when I get to it though. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into my All My Dolls video for the year of 2022. Just a quick little disclaimer, this video is not meant to brag in any way. Most of my dolls I pay for myself. Some I got lucky and won in giveaways. I will talk about how I got each doll when the time is right. But a lot of people are curious about the dolls in my collection, so I want to share the dolls in my collection with you guys because people requested it and they're a popular type of video to make. Anyways, for real, let's get into the video. As always, I like to start with the first doll in my collection and then go all the way until my newest doll. So the first doll in my collection is Ali Sophia Park. She is truly me, number 59, technically my American Girl number 59, and I got her in May of 2014. She is my mini-me doll, and even though we don't necessarily look the exact same anymore, I have blonde highlights on my hair and my hair is not layered, and some days it's straighter, some days it's more wavy, I don't fully know, but she is still overall my mini-me, and we have similar names and we have similar interests, and she just means a lot to me because she was my first doll and she kickstarted my whole collection. So even though I definitely don't use her as much as I do with my other dolls, I definitely really appreciate having Ali in my collection, and I'm really grateful to have her, and I don't ever want to get rid of her. And for those of you guys who are like, what? You have a doll who has the same name as you? My name is not actually Ali. Oh my god, my life is a lie. Just kidding. It's just a nickname that I mainly use online. Some people call me it in real life, but because I obviously got my first doll before I started my channel and I named my first doll after myself, Ali was like the nickname for the doll, which then became my nickname for like my channel and all of that stuff. Yes, me and my mini-me have the same quote-unquote name, but it's not actually the same name. I also purchased Ali from the American Girl store in Vancouver. The next doll in my collection is Becca, no middle name Gold, and she was actually my sister's doll who ended up getting inherited into my collection, along with another doll who I will talk about in a second, but I do not remember the exact date where these dolls kind of morphed into my collection. So if we're talking just order of purchase overall, she was purchased at the same time as Ali. She is a truly me 39, and since I got my mini-me, my sister also got her mini-me, so she doesn't really look that much like 39 anymore in my opinion. I feel like her hair's changed a lot since then, but at the time they were lookalikes, so she was purchased the same time and place as Ali, but she is no longer, as you can see, a truly me 39. I still do have her original wig, but because I never really used her that much, probably because I never felt a connection with her as she wasn't originally my doll, I ended up putting this wig on her from Beautifully Custom, and I still, if I'm completely honest, don't use her that much, probably just because the wig, it's a beautiful wig, but it is very top heavy, so it's kind of a pain to like stand her up for photos and things like that because she wants to fall backwards a lot. That's what you get though when you get really beautiful thick wigs, but she is still a really pretty doll to look at, and I honestly should use her more. Next is my second doll, but the third doll overall in my collection, and that is Amelie Caroline Abbott, and I got her online from the American Girl website, and she is obviously a Caroline doll, and I got her in May of 2015. Now this doll means a lot to me because once again, she was one of my earlier dolls. She had a well-established personality of being a super girly girl, and the fact that she is a Caroline doll, I'm very grateful I own her. Now I made a video recently talking about the worst dolls for beginners, and I mentioned Caroline, and I definitely do regret getting Caroline when I did because her hair has a lot of split ends and it's just not in perfect condition like it would be if I'd gotten her at an older age, just because her hair is kind of a bit more difficult to take care of. But overall, I am very grateful to to have Caroline/Amelie in my collection, and she's really beautiful, and yeah, that's her. The fourth doll in my collection is Julie Cara Albright, and she is currently actually wearing a body from a 25 because I'll explain that a bit later on. My sister got her in June of 2015. We got our cousins to pick her up from the now defunct American Girl Place Seattle. I don't really have too much to say about her. She, similar to Becca, was my sister's doll. I inherited her, and I never really connected with Julie that much, so I never really used her that much, and she kind of just sits around. I know I need to use her more, but I do own a Julie doll. She's just never really in my videos because I don't really connect with her, and she's quite old in my collection too, but I am grateful to have her. The next doll is Victoria Olivia Jacobs, and the story about how I got her is complicated. I've explained it before, but to just quickly talk about it, and she's a Just Like You 25, by the way, is my friend from school had 25 as her lookalike and didn't really use her anymore, and I asked if I could have her, so I traded a bunch of my Littlest Pet Shops away to get this doll. And then I had Caroline on the way in the mail during this time, and one of my friends was starting to get into dolls because she really liked my collection, so I decided to give the 25 to my friend for her birthday because I knew I had a doll on the way. A few months later, my friend kind of grew out of dolls, and I kind of regret doing this now that I'm older, but at the time I was like, you know what, if you're not into dolls, I kind of regret giving away my doll. So for more Littlest Pet Shop stuff, and I think $10 as well, I managed to get Victoria back into my collection. And my friend also gave me a bunch of doll clothing that she had accumulated from another friend from the mid-2000s. So I did get Victoria back in my collection in February of 2016, and I'm really grateful to have her. Doll number 6 is Leah Payton Clark, and I got her in September of 2016. She is, of course, a Girl of the Year 2016 Leah Clark doll. There was a hot second where I was like, I want to make Leah's name different and put an H at the end, but I really always forget that I did that, so I still spell it L-E-A, but if you look back at my older videos and see L-E-A-H, it's because I was trying to be different, but it didn't last. She was purchased at the American Girl store Vancouver, and she's such a beautiful doll. She has such a beautiful wig. I took photos of her recently for some thumbnails, and I really do want to use her more. I think she kind of gets forgotten a bit in my collection just because she is one of my older dolls, but she's definitely one of the most unique dolls appearance-wise in my collection, and I really want to use her more. Next is one doll that many of you guys probably know if you were familiar with my collection, and that is my doll Juniper. Juniper Lilly Larkin. She is, of course, a Maryellen doll, and I got her in January of 2017 from the American Girl store Vancouver. You might recognize her from AGNDM Cycle 1, where she was eliminated second, I believe. Very amazing. I don't know, I feel like AGNDM was so big when it was around, but no one talks about it anymore. But she was on that show, which was quite popular. She is, of course, the doll in my profile picture, and she's really cute, and I want to take photos of her because I love her. Even though she's such a beautiful doll, because she is one of the older dolls in my collection, she kind of gets pushed aside a bit by the newer dolls, but I still do have a giant place in my heart for Juniper just because I feel like she is the face of my channel, if that makes sense. Next is doll number 8, who is my first and only boy doll, Aaron Mohammed Fraser, and I got him in February of 2018, and I won him in a giveaway from American Girl Spirit, so my first ever giveaway doll. He is a Truly Me number 76, who I believe might actually be getting retired from what I've heard, so I guess he's a rare doll, or going to be a rare doll, which is pretty cool to own him. I never really imagined myself getting a boy doll when they came out, but I entered the giveaway and I ended up winning one, and I'm grateful I have one because it adds some diversity to my collection, and it's a fun character to have for AGSMs and things like that. Next is doll number 9, who is Raelynn Skye Rivers. She is a Truly Me number 49, who unfortunately has perma panties, and I never ended up getting her body swapped, so we live with it, but it definitely makes her unique. And I got her in May of 2018 from the American Girl store Vancouver. 49 is such an underrated doll in my opinion. Her wig is beautiful, and I love how her bright blue eyes stand out next to her black hair, and she's just really pretty. And go get yourself a 49, ideally without perma panties if you do not have one already. Next is doll number 10, Ryan Alessia McBride, who is a Girl of the Year 2017 Gabriella McBride doll. But I ended up actually getting her in August of 2018, not 2017, from the American Girl store Vancouver, and I believe I did get her on sale for I think 90 Canadian instead of her usual retail price, whatever that is. They keep changing the price of the dolls. I can't keep up anymore. I got Ryan, took some photos of her, and then I had to leave for a vacation, and I didn't take Ryan with me on that trip. And then I came back, took photos of her, and she fell right onto her nose on the concrete and got a scuff. I cried about it because she was such a new doll. I ended up fixing it with micro mesh, and I always forget nowadays. It's been so many years that she even has the scuff, but that's my little story about Ryan, the doll that was brand new and got a giant nose scuff. I love her. She's a really pretty doll, and yeah, that's her. 11 is Kiona Kaya Thompson, and she is a Kaya doll. I got her in January of 2019 at the American Girl store Seattle because unfortunately Kaya was never available in the Canadian boutique, so I had to trek all the way to Seattle, not just for the release of Blair, but to pick up a Kaya doll. She is beautiful. I need to use her more as well, and I just love her hair, and she's just so cute. Get yourself a Kaya if you do not have one already. Next is another really popular doll in my collection, and that is Maisie Taya Ellison, and I got her in June of 2019. She is of course a Melody Ellison doll, and I got her from the American Girl store in Vancouver. Melody is another really cute doll. I love her wig, and I feel like she's a great addition to my collection, and for being, I guess, mid-tier in terms of like my list of dolls, it feels like I got her yesterday. I still use her all the time, so I definitely love and do not regret getting a Melody doll. Next is Devyn Finley Walker, and she originally was an Addy Walker doll from the benefit sale that I had somebody pick up for me, but then I customized her and I had a bunch of different wigs that I put on her, and she's currently wearing this burgundy wig with bangs from Doll of a Kind. This has been her wig for about the past year and a half, I think, but I'm always down to change up her wig. I feel like I don't use her as much, maybe because I'm never totally satisfied with the wig I put on her, and I still do have the original Addy wig, but I don't know, I feel like she's always a custom because I bought her with the intention of making her a custom, but I don't know, I'm just not 100% happy with how she looks. But if you have not read Addy's books, go read them. She's another doll that definitely sits around a lot, and that's probably just because I'm never really happy with the wigs that I put on her, so I really need to sort that out. But yeah, I got her in July of 2019, and I just love Addy's story so much, and I am glad I have an Addy doll even if she is customized. The same time that I got Devyn, I ended up getting doll number 14, who is Naya Nicole Edwards, and I got her, of course, as well in July of 2019. She's a Truly Me doll number 62, also from the benefit sale, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people also know Naya in my collection. She ended up winning Cycle 5 of AGNDM. I photograph her a lot, and because of that, I think she is one of the more popular dolls in my collection as well. 62 is unfortunately retired, but she's such a beautiful doll, so definitely pick one up if you get the chance to. Next is doll number 15, Marlo Lydia Ross, and she is a Girl of the Year 2020 Joss doll. Joss, the cheerleading boss, whose last name is Ross in my collection. Cool. She was born, no, she was not born. Oh my god, I'm losing it. It's 1 a.m. guys. I got her on January 1st of 2020 from the American Girl store Seattle, and I still do use her quite a bit in my collection. I love her wig, but I feel like she has been getting overshadowed by some of my more recent dolls lately because in 2020, I went really wild in terms of purchasing dolls. I got so many that year. I'm starting to slow down again, but it feels like yesterday that I got Joss, but really I've gotten so many dolls since then, so I think I need help. Next is doll number 16, and that is Cerie May Anderson, and I got her in April of 2020 from a giveaway from Juniper Illy. So she is a custom doll with, I believe, the base of a 26, and her wig seems to be a 25 wig, so she's definitely very unique in my collection. She's so incredibly photogenic, and I got her for free in a giveaway, which is awesome. So actually, I think I had to pay duty on her, so like $16 technically. But yeah, she's a really great doll, and I love her. Next is another of my personal favorites, and that is doll number 17, Alana Chihiro Mitchell, and I got her in August of 2020 as a reward to myself for finishing my summer job, and then one of the parents of a kid who I taught for several weeks ended up giving me an Indigo gift card, which went towards the doll, which was super generous. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know I have an American Girl addiction? So she definitely has a big place in my heart just because I have a strong memory of like why I got her and why I rewarded myself with her. And I got her, of course, at the American Girl store Vancouver, and and she's an Anea doll. I forget if I said that already, but I love her and she's so photogenic, and I think I might actually be taking her on a trip with me soon. Next is doll number 18, the start of many secondhand dolls in a row, and that is Lainey Holland, also known as Finley. This is where I'm gonna explain that whole confusing name thing. So I love giving my dolls new names because I feel like it makes them original. So for example, do you have a Kira Bailey doll? No, my doll is, you know, a unique name. So I really like things like that. And a lot of my older dolls, more so because I used to play with them, and even just I was more active on Instagram and posting photos of them, used their names way more. But with the way that my content has evolved, a lot of the times I'm talking about dolls overall rather than dolls in my specific collection. So I'll be referring to a Joss doll because I'm talking about Joss and not my specific Joss doll, if that makes sense. So even though I did end up renaming my Lainey doll, the name really hasn't stuck, and there's a few dolls in my collection that we're gonna get to that are like that, just because I call her Lainey all the time for video purposes, and you can even see that in this video. I'm flip-flopping a lot between the names that I named my dolls and then their actual name. So I've really got to get that on track. But I think another aspect of that is I just got so many dolls in 2020 that I kind of gave up on their names a little bit. I don't know. I always call her Lainey, and I do think the name Lainey suits her, so the name Finley is kind of dead. That was very long, I'm sorry, but I kind of want to explain that because this affects a few dolls going forward. So of course, this is a Lainey Holland doll from 2010, and I ended up getting her secondhand from a friend of a friend and fixing her up, and you can find that video on my channel. I got her in September of 2020. The same time I got Lainey, I also got Kanani for a really good deal secondhand, of course, and I named her Eden Akina. Now I still love the name Eden for her, but once again, I always call her Kanani because in videos I'm talking about Kanani. So maybe I'll push the name Eden to be her middle name, but I also really feel like it suits her as a first name. I just don't call her that, so we've got to figure out this whole name situation. And of course, got her in September of 2020. Fixing up video is on my channel. Next is my first ever time eye swapping a doll, and that is doll number 20, Rory. For some reason, I don't actually think I ever gave her a last name, if my chart is correct. So this is just Rory. She is a custom doll with the base of a 25 that I ended up getting at the same time as I got Lainey and Kanani, and she has a wig from Doll of a Kind and eyes from Beautifully Custom. I finished customizing her in November of 2020, and I have a video detailing the process and showing my full-on reactions to eye swapping for the first time on my channel. Next is another doll who has a name, but I never use it. That is Margot Avery Maxwell, who is also known as Krissa Maxwell in my collection. I got her from the same person who I got Lainey, Kanani, and the parts for Rory from, but I ended up purchasing her as well as the next doll in April of 2021. She was the star of the stop motion that I made last year called The Never Ending The Never Ending Hiccups, and I definitely did refer to her as Margot a lot then. So the name Margot I think might actually stick for her, but I also call her Krissa a lot, so I don't know. This is just a giant mess. I swear in like the past 2 years my collection's become a mess. But the same time I got Margot, I got doll number 22, Quinn Willa Smithens, also known as Ruthie Smithens, and I don't think I've ever really used the name Quinn for her. So I think I'm permanently changing her name back to Ruthie, but who knows? I also got her and fixed her up in April of 2021. Okay, moving on to the two new dolls, and I am pleased to say I have been pretty good about sticking to these dolls' names. Probably because I slowed down a bit in my doll purchasing, but who knows. Anyways, the next one, doll number 23, is Rosie Grace Gardner, and she is a dream doll that I've had for years, since 2011, a Mary Grace Gardner doll. I made a video talking about dolls I wanted, and one of my subscribers reached out and was like, hey, I'm selling a Mary Grace doll, are you interested? So we negotiated a price, and unfortunately I had to pay duty on her again, but I ended up getting Mary Grace in my collection and slightly fixing her up, and I'm just so happy to have her because she's a dream doll. I got her in June of 2021, and then one night I impulsively was like, what if I just put another wig on her? So I removed her wig, put another wig on, and I was like, this is cool, but I want to put her original wig back on. So it's not glued on, but she still has a regular Mary Grace wig. I regret doing that. It was just called boredom at 1 a.m. You know, I could have been filming a video like I am now, but no. I decided to de-wig my doll. But I'm very grateful to have her in my collection, and she's named Rosie after my grandmother. And finally, the newest doll in my collection, doll number 24 is Karina Bing Tan, who is my Corinne Tan doll Girl of the Year for 2022. I ordered her online from the Indigo website because there was this glitch where they actually displayed the American prices but in Canadian currency. So I ended up getting her for cheaper than she was supposed to be retailed for. So yeah, I probably would have still gotten her even if it wasn't for the glitch, but that's what made me go and get her right away. And she arrived on the first day of classes for the semester, January 10th of 2022. Now, once again, I have been pretty good, I feel like, about calling her Karina, probably because I spent a long time thinking about the name for her. It is inspired by a K-pop idol who I really like from aespa, and then Bing means ice, I believe, in Chinese. And then of course, I do still refer to her as Corinne because of like videos and things like that, but in my collection, she is Karina Rocket Puncher. That was cringy, unless you know what I mean. Oh my god. Anyways, this was a giant mess of a video. I feel like this is way more rambly and chaotic than my typical All My Dolls videos, but that's what I get for filming at 1:41 a.m. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below how many dolls do you currently have in your collection. I have 24 and that is 24 too many. I definitely do still want to get more dolls in my collection, but there's not really any doll that at this second is calling me like I need to get them. So we'll see if an opportunity comes up to get another doll. But for now, I'm really happy with where my collection is, and I think I just want a bit more time just to kind of like bond and use my current collection before I get even more dolls and unfortunately just forget about others, because that's just how it works, unfortunately. Oh my god, this is so rambly. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more American Girl doll videos, and of course have an amazing day, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye!